Okay, Thani, so this is like the first video we are doing together. Would you like to say something about that?
Nice.
Toast! Silent Hill is legendary. No other game has such an ability to get under your skin, and that statement could be a metaphor, or that could describe one of the many monsters that want you dead in those games. Depending on whether you live outside of America, or in Europe, or whatever, the very first monster you meet would be different. So, Thani, have you played Silent Hill 1?
Yes, I have. I have played Silent Hill 1, although it has been a little bit. I know we talked a little bit, and is his name Harry? Like, for real? I don't really know.
His name is Harry Mason, who is a guy who is just casually driving through Silent Hill when his car crashes, potentially due to demonic interference, or more likely because he's driving a Land Rover. Do you like that? That was a little car joke.
Yeah. That seems to happen a lot too. People's cars or trucks or anything's breaking down. Oh, I'm in Silent Hill now. Yeah, it's part of the standard formula.
That's why car mechanics are so goddamn important, because you're just driving along and suddenly you're in a nightmarish landscape.
Jeez, exactly. Bet you regret not getting your car checked out now, huh, Harry? And every other protagonist of Silent Hill, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, waking up from that car crash, he then realizes that his daughter is out walking in some sinister fog thing. And being the good parent, he of course follows her right into the ambush of monsters.
Wait, was she in the car with him?
Well, I expect so, yes.
So he totally goes on this night drive or day drive or just fog drive, bad weather drive with his daughter.
Yep.
In the middle of nowhere with car problems. All right, continue.
Actually, I think he swerves off the road because he sees Alessa, which is, the one of the main characters of the game, the little spooky girl. There's always a spooky girl,
Gotcha. Okay, all right, it's coming back to me now. I'm remembering.
Yes, excellent. So, the natural question, of course, in this video is what monster is that? And I, who live in Europe, I would get the mumblers, which is a group of fairly small clawed monsters with a hole for a face. I mean, it still has a head, but instead of facial features, there's just a great big void that probably leads into a dimension of pain and depression, or Tekashi 69's music.
And with a name like mumblers too, it's kind of the whole package, huh?
Yeah, I think the name stems from the fact that they mumble, which again is not super creative, but Silent Hill is actually known for having really good and creative monsters. In fact, there's always some sort of backstory to these monsters. Now, the creatures, the mumblers, are conjured up by Alessa, who is, a major character in the game with powers, and I'm reading from the wiki now. She had a very dark, violent, traumatic, and abusive childhood. She was bullied, beaten, tortured, and set on fire as a child.
Yeah, it was like a modern-day witch hunt, basically, sorta. I remember this from the really good Silent Hill movie. Yeah, really good. Yes.
They wanted to sacrifice her to bring some sort of demonic entity into our world, which is, they're not only are they evil cultists, they're also like really bad parents. And the mumblers were actually some of the creatures she read about in her fantasy books. So basically what I'm getting is like the generic demon-like creatures.
I didn't expect the mumblers to be so deep, actually, with all this lore, considering the fact that in the North American version you don't see them very much, albeit like the sewers one time, and then I know there's another spot if you come back to it in like the end of the game. So geez, that's actually really cool. I didn't even know.
Yeah, do you remember what you get? Because this is the monster that got censored in Europe and Japan.
Yes, of course. We get the Grey Children, and then we get the mumblers in the sewer. I don't know. Did they swap them? Like, do you fight Grey Children in the sewer?
There is a version of the Grey Children that comes back at the end, coming out of the floor or something like that. Do you remember what the great children do?
Not really, actually, no.
Okay, so they run towards you like children, and they kind of hug your legs.
No.
But they have like knives. So instead of hugging, it's a little bit more like they want to take big ass chunks of meat off of your body.
See, it was bad enough when like the thought of a random child coming to give me a hug is weird enough, but then they've got knives too.
So this was scary to you already before the actual monster part of this.
Yes.
Yeah. And would you then would you then care to guess why it was censored?
Because they looked too much like children.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, you do walk around in that game bashing children's faces in with a lead pipe, which was probably too much. I mean, you don't want to insinuate that those children would get some sort of lead poisoning.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. I mean, with PS1 graphics, the splash art for them looked really cool, but then in game they look like gray penguins or something. More than gray children. At least I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty close actually. But they were meant to be children, and violence against children apparently A-okay in America, but in Europe and Japan that was a no-go. At least that's what the theory is, and it's a solid theory in my opinion.
America.
Let's go with this. Scariest memory from a Silent Hill game.
Wait, from like any of them?
From any of them. What fucked you up the most in Silent Hill?
Silent Hill Downpour's combat.
Oh god. Okay, that's the scariest thing that you remember?
No, okay, if I was to be serious, like, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so Silent Hill Homecoming, not a lot of people like that game because it's very America. Like, the protagonist in the game, God forbid, like, I barely remembered Harry's name, but this guy's name, is Mr. America, is Mr. Forgettable. And, the combat was super iffy in that game, but I remembered going back through one of the parts, like, it was backtracking in one of the parts, and dude, this nurse stepped around the corner with no warning whatsoever. There was no static from the radio or anything. It was a genuine jump scare, and I don't remember ever being genuinely jump scared in Silent Hill like that before. It completely caught me off guard because up until that point, the game just wasn't scary. It was funny, and I think what made it so memorable was I was just mad that it scared me instead of it being genuinely scary like the other games were. Oh, Silent Hill 4, the ghosts. Genuinely terrifying. Best monster, I think, in the whole series are the ghosts.
Now, personally, I was always more of a Resident Evil guy, so I always played the Resident Evil games, but the thing that scared me from any Silent Hill game, and this might be controversial, but I'm saying it anyway, it's PT. Do you play PT?
PT, no, but I've seen lots of footage.
Yeah.
That looks so stellar. Oh, did you see the one video where they talked about how the ghost girl is always following you behind the camera?
Yeah, she is. And that freaked me out even more, and I still have that on my PS4, and I went back to play it, and it was so goddamn scary. I remember her popping up. I don't remember why she kills you, but at some point she kills you. It's just kind of randomly. And I swear to God, I almost had to change my pants, man.
Lost 1 second. Hello?
Dad wants that new hamburger taco, something, burrito or whatever at Taco Bell.
What?
Wants you to go to Taco Bell for us.
Hamburger taco?
Yeah, something like that. Go ask him. I'm gonna...
That's the scariest shit ever.
There's nothing worse than hamburger Taco Bell. No. That's true nightmare.
That's going in, by the way.
No, it's not.
Outtakes. No. Outtakes in the end of the video, man.
Dude, that reminds me of the one Dark Souls highlight reel I did where my ma came in and was talking. I was like, hey, Ma, what do you think of this sword? And she's like, oh, it looks like a Swiffer, a feather duster. Bless her heart. I love my mom. I was like, you're right, Ma, it is. It is a Swiffer. What were we talking about again?